Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. I'm always excited to be here today. And even today marks a very special day because you guys should all know I'm not afraid to mix it up. I'm not afraid to mix words. And rarely do I find somebody who's not afraid to get in there, shake shit up, tell it like it is, unlike this guest today that we have on today's Note Closer Show episode. And I am so excited to have the man, the myth, the Dayton Dingo, or as we call him, the Real Estate Dingo, Mr. Engelo Rumora. Good morning, buddy. How you doing, man?
Hey, buddy. I'm great. How about yourself? And
I am doing it. Loving life, man. Busy as always can be. I know you are too, because we've been bouncing back and forth on things. We've excited to finally have you here on the podcast after getting things scheduled between your schedule and my schedule. But I'm so jacked up. I see a lot of the great things that you're doing out there, and just applaud all the things you're doing, man.
Always to chat with you, and I know we bump into each other at the various events, and I always enjoy the words of advice over the past and implement it as much as I can. But Dayton Dingo, Scott, I mean, come on, mate, come on. Like I prefer the Dingo of Ohio because I feel like I've kind of taken ownership of this state. I'm probably going to rename it to Engelo, Ohio. But that's I guess that's for some kind of political podcast, mate. I know this is more real estate related.
Well, I love what you're doing. Trust me, no ill will compared to you for that. Just rolled off the tip of my tongue. You know me in marketing. But you're doing.
You're fine, man. You're fine. I guess I have to knock it then.
Exactly. For a guy that takes pictures, what I love, marketing pictures in your white shirt, your dress socks, and your underwear out there doing like a 6-foot leap in the middle of a road there for marketing. I don't think you're afraid to mix it up, my friend.
Mate, there's a reason why they call us Aussies the Thunders from down under, baby. Like, if you got to flaunt it. I'm a professional soccer player, so I've got some cannons as quads. I mean, once again, mate, whatever's different. I was told that success comes from doing things differently. So I try and snazz things up. I try and be different. Try and stand out of the crowd. And I'll tell you what, I think I've done a good job with a lot of heads over the years.
Amen to that. So for those of you that are, for those of our audience out there that don't know who you are. Don't know what you're doing. Why don't you take a second to share a little bit about your background, kind of what you're doing now, what you're doing there in Ohio, and really making some waves, and kind of your background, how you got into real estate, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I guess in a nutshell, I quit school at the age of 14. So I've got no formal education whatsoever. I can hardly write, can't read. When I type on my laptop, it looks like a Chinese chef making chop suey. So it's the funniest shit you've ever seen in your life. And my grammar skills and math skills are even worse, mate. So, thank God for the calculator because I'd be lost. But I always like to tell folks, if I can do it, well, I bet you can too, right? So I was very fortunate, mate, to realize my lifelong dream of playing professional soccer at the age of 18. I got a professional gig in Hong Kong. So that was probably one of the biggest achievements of my life to date. And certain things didn't really work out there, and I just decided to hang up the boots and kind of go down a different path in life. And I had no full education and no degree, so I managed to stumble across a laboring gig on dirty construction sites. Did that for around 4 years, and I thought, like, fuck this. There's got to be something bigger and better out there for me where I can actually invest my money and make it work for me instead of me slaving for the rest of my life looking for it. Caught the business bug. Anything and everything, asset related, from stocks to real estate to, business, entrepreneurship, you name it. And I just started soaking up so much information, mate. And I kind of replaced the passion that I had for soccer ever since I was 5 years old with business, with entrepreneurship, and in particularly real estate. Started building my portfolio in Australia, built up a very large portfolio in a short amount of time. I didn't feel that the real estate market there was the right kind of market from a passive income standpoint, right? Because why do we invest in real estate, mate? We invest in real estate to supplement the income from a 9 to 5 that we do not want to be doing. Or even if we like our 9 to 5, well, it's still great making money before you get out of bed, right? So the US real estate market came across my desk. I pretty much decided to jump into the unknown, left everything and everyone behind, moved here with around 15 grand in cash. I didn't really have that much money, bought my first deal, fixed it, flipped it. Fast forward to 5 years. I've bought, renovated, and sold over 500 properties. I lost count at 500. I'm not even calculating anymore. I run one of the most reputable and best branded turnkey real estate investment companies in the country, a higher cash flow. I have a property management company, Oz Realty. I've got a revolutionary brokerage, list and sell realty. I'm building tech. I own real estate all over the world. Scott, I'm humbled to be where I am today, mate. And it's been a great journey. And look, enough of me. Let's add some value to the audience, mate, because that's what it's about. I've got no hidden agenda here. I'm not pitching anything. People by people. If you like me, you'll buy from me sometime in the future. But I just want to add as much value to you as possible. So
sure,
that's me.
Hey, I love it. But I love your backstory. Most people don't know the backstory on that, which is great. And like you said, hey, if you can do it without any formal education, what's holding others back out there that have education, that they have experience? They have a silver spoon in their mouth, but they're too scared to take action. You're not afraid to take action, and action, by taking action, you failed forward. I'm sure you've had your ups and downs like anybody else has out there to make things. But the biggest question I like to ask is, why did you settle on Dayton? Why did you like Dayton to start off with?
Actually, in Toledo.
Toledo, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Get your fucking facts right, mate.
Yeah, man.
Jesus
sorry.
Christ. Sorry. No, you're fine. You're fine. No, so look, we did expand into Dayton and we were in Cincinnati. But as you just mentioned prior, we've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. No one's perfect. And you learn from them. I love the saying, run to your fears. And if there's anything stopping anyone right now from a, money kind of loss standpoint, look, we're not going to live forever. You can't take it with you, right? So I'm a big believer in taking risks, taking chances, making mistakes, learning from your mistakes, and picking yourself back up and moving forward. And mate, we started in Toledo, started doing some great business in Toledo. This is my bread and butter market. I have been here for a while now. We expanded into Dayton and Cincinnati. Kind of lost our ass there. We didn't have the right infrastructure on the ground like we do here. And we just kind of had to pull our tail between our legs and come back to Toledo. The properties that we did sell in those markets, we made sure to look after our investors, because that's the most important thing in this industry, Scott. Once you lose your reputation, you've lost it all. Yeah. So no matter what, you have to protect that at all costs. And look, once again, people are forgiving as long as you're willing to put your hand up and say, hey, I screwed up. I made a mistake. Let me fix it for you. And then you come through on your word. People start to respect that and appreciate that. And that's why I encourage everyone for Google or higher cash flow. Google any one of my entities. You're not going to find a single word of negativity, because it doesn't exist, Scott. Like, I fuck up, I pay for it, I fix it, and we all move forward. Mate, Toledo, Ohio, I can tell you right now, I don't know of any other market in the country that can provide a better bang for the buck. I travel nationwide. I do a lot of speaking, and everyone's complaining about a lack of inventory. Everyone's complaining about, sky high prices. I feel like a kid in a candy store here, mate. We're still buying the same properties we were 5 years ago, and it's just great to be here. It's not a sexy market. It's pretty boring, to be honest with you. There's not much going on, and I think that is one of the main reasons why there's no competition and why we have such a monopoly. Look, it's just been it's been working out really well for us. So that's kind of why we're here. I don't plan on expanding anytime soon. As you can imagine, I'm still kind of scared of cooking because my fingers are still burnt from the oven the first time when I try to expand. Yeah, man, that's kind of Toledo, Ohio in a nutshell, and why we're here.
Right, because it's a great market. We've been through that neighborhood. I've owned assets. I love the price points. That's the biggest thing. Plus the rent rates of what you're renting versus what you can buy. You're buying houses for really less than what you can build them brand new, right? Oh, dude, I'll tell you right now, I'm happy to kind of openly discuss my margins, because if someone's more worried about the profit that I make than the value that they get, well, then I don't want that investor as a part of my company. But, mate, we're buying properties for 20 to 30 cents on the dollar.
So something that was selling for 80, 90, 100 grand in 2004, 5, and 6, I'm buying it for $20,000 to $30,000 right now. It truly is a buyer's market. No one's buying. I'm the biggest single family home buyer in town, Scott. I've got the cash. I close quickly. My title company does title in 48 hours. I don't put a gun to anyone's head and say, take my offer. But if you want to sell to us, we do perform, even though it might be a turn. And have I lost my ass on buying a property with a shit foundation? Fuck, dude, every month. I still perform and I buy it, and the word spreads. And before you know it, everyone starts sending deals your way, right? So, look, as I said, it's just a great market to be in, and there's no competition, and the prices are super low and the rents are super high. So it's just a no-brainer for my type of business.
Mm-hmm. Definitely with the turnkey stuff. And where are you raising most of your capital from? You're talking from local investors, nationwide investors?
All cash, baby. All cash, baby. Come on. Do you doubt me? Do you doubt me?
Not for a second.
I'm kidding, mate. But no, look, we've got even like before I moved to the US, one of my partners that's kind of been a part of my journey for a good 7 years, even 2 years before I moved to the US, before I even knew where Toledo was. He kind of guided me, in the murky waters of US real estate and the turnkey industry and the stigma surrounding turnkey. And at the start of Ohio Cash Flow, he was a hard money lender to us and helped us out on numerous transactions. Then we kind of started getting unsecured lines of credit from our investors. But nowadays, mate, it's just all our cash because I don't like the restrictions. I don't like not the criteria, but the restrictions that a lender will impose. And it's just too tough to do a deal quickly in the way that I want to do it. And I just don't want to be held back by anyone or anything. So the more that I can control in-house, I prefer to keep it that way.
No, that makes total sense there for you. Definitely out there. I love it too with the videos that you're doing as well. I am such a fan of the LinkedIn series stuff that you got rocking and rolling over LinkedIn. There's very few people using the video aspect of LinkedIn like you are, like I am, and another buddy or two of mine are doing stuff like that. What kind of feedback are you getting from your video stuff in LinkedIn, man?
To be honest with you, mate, not too much from LinkedIn. We do get the comment and like on there. And a lot of folks have always praised me for like our marketing strategy and what we do and how we do it. To be honest with you, there's really no strategy behind it. and as much as I would love to say, we do PPC and Facebook, Google AdWords and Facebook sponsored posts and all of that stuff like you and I discussed in person. Mate, to this day, I still don't do any of that. We just submit a ton of content out into the universe, like 1/4 of what we did back in the day. But I do believe that the content that we have been submitting for the last 5 years is kind of still circulating the web. And then all of that traffic and attention just comes back to us. The number one thing that I'm doing right now is the weekly video blog, which is transcribed into an actual blog. And we submit that to Bigger Pockets. I've grown my reputation on Bigger Pockets in a big way over the years. I'm kind of, I guess, I'm not going to say a thought leader because that's a little bit pompous, but, people respect what I have to say and that kind of carries weight. And then once again, mate, like if you do the right thing by people and multiply that by 5 years, people start talking and they start posting about it. And then you have a little bit of craziness or a differentiating factor about you and who you are and what you do. That in itself leaves an impression. And then before you know it, right, you do the right thing. You've got a great reputation, groovy, quirky, unique brand. You submit content out into the universe. All of this stuff starts multiplying, Scott, and it starts coming back to you in the form of new business, right? So that's kind of what we've done.
Yeah, I love it. It's just a matter of it compounding upon itself. But you started, you just provide great content, and it turns into fertilizer for your audience. It turns into fertilizer for your business. People start referring. You build a great online persona, online, trustworthiness as well, because you're doing what you're saying you're doing, right?
100%. Look, oh man, this pisses me off so much. Like, I started off this podcast with you by saying, if I can do it, anyone can. Dude, there's nothing special about what I do. Like, Jesus Christ, I just do it, man. Like, I just show up every single day and commit to the grind. If that means doing a phone call, sending an email, attending a meeting, doing a podcast, doing a video, like, just commit to doing shit every single day. And I can guarantee you that you can't fail. Like, you're going to succeed because you're going to figure things out. Stuff's going to happen for you. And that's what I did, mate. Like, when I started my business, I couldn't sell a property for the first year and a half, dude. Like, I could not make a sale. Like, now we're selling 5 to 10 a month, like they're, hotcakes. It's like crazy. But it took a lot of nothing to get there, but you don't give up and you just set yourself a goal of, okay, when my alarm goes off tomorrow morning, I'm not going to be a lazy asshole and hit snooze. I'm going to get and I'm going to go and sit it in a chair with my laptop, and I don't care what you do. Look at the fucking laptop, and I'll tell you right now, if you do that every single day, well, then the next day you're going to start doing a little bit of research. The third day you're going to set up an online account. The fourth day you're going to go on Wix and set up your website. The fifth day you're going to call your attorney to set up an LLC. And once again, all of those days and all those efforts, multiply it by 2, 3, 4, 5 years, dude, you're going to learn, you're going to do stuff, you're going to make deals happen, and you'll make money, and you'll hopefully, have a successful business. So,
yeah, love that. Absolutely agree to that. A little bit compounds each day on stuff that do something and add a little bit more, get a little bit better each day at what you do. And eventually 30 days, you look back in a whole different place where you're at. 5 years, you're in a whole different place at. Excuse me.
People, you're fine. You know how many people talk the talk? Like, I always tell everyone, stop being a Johnny talker, be a Johnny Walker and make it blue with 2 ice cubes. That's kind of my little joke and saying, right? Because I love my scotch. But, mate, there's so many people talking shit, dude. Like, for years, I'm getting people pinging me on Bigger Pockets and Facebook and everywhere asking me for crap. And I don't want to respond, not because I don't care, but because I know no one's really going to take the action and do anything with it. You know what I mean? I would love nothing more than for someone to genuinely come and bother me every single day asking for advice and tips. And if they took that advice and those tips and actually implemented it, dude, I'd be more than happy to spend time helping. But there's just so many folks that, say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they never do it. And, mate, action and just doing it, showing up and making it happen is like so much, man. And you really get ahead if you actually do it. So.
Right. Exactly. What opportunities are you seeing the most on right now with where you're seeing the market at, and where do you see it going in the next couple of years? Because I love it, because I love you breaking down different business models on the real estate side on some of the LinkedIn posts out there. Where do you see the most amount of opportunity for investors out there?
Wow, you put me on the spot, mate. Look, I think, I love real estate. You love real estate. We're real estate guys. I don't care how expensive and hot the market is. There's always a deal to be had, and there's always money to be made in real estate. Okay, so that's one thing that, sure, the market is expensive and on the East Coast and West Coast. Well, guess what? Pack up your bags, get your kids out of school, buy a house in the Midwest, and get your ass here. And there's so many deals here, they're falling off trees. There they are, Scott. Look, I can go pick fucking 20 deals off that tree right now. Right? So, but once again, mate, it's too hard, right? Because wifey doesn't, kiddies need to go to a good school. Hubby has a good job, so he can't move. And there are too many restrictions. Dude, I'm home. Like, I'm so mobile. Like, I can be in the Bahamas tomorrow, in Toledo today. I just bought a condo in Chicago. Like, I can move worldwide. Like, I've got a US green card. I'm an Australian citizen. I also have my European citizenship. I think it's so important to be mobile, where you can adapt to the current economic climate, because, dude, boy, is it changing. Virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial intelligence, blockchain, robotics. If you don't check your phone for an hour, Scott, you missed out on something. Like, so it's so important that first of all, you are flexible, you are mobile, you can move. And I guess the number I did. But with that being said, I also believe that there's always a deal to be had, and there's always money to be made in any market, as long as you work hard and you know where to look. I
love it. That's so true, man. Whether it's an up or down market, you just got to know where to look at and talk to people that are closing deals. Or if you can't move, reach out to experts in the markets like you. Reach out to people that have a firm hold. They've got all the vendors. They've got all the relations there locally. They know how the city works. They know the pain in the ass the city can be sometimes as well. If they know how to,
Cool.
navigate those things, right?
Right. 100%. Look, as I said, I love real estate. I mean, there are other industries that we could kind of talk about. Because the real estate market is hot in most regions, and because we're at all-time high, prices in the stock market, there's nothing wrong with holding on to a little bit of cash, mate. It's not going to kill you. I mean, if you've exited a few investments and you're holding a large chunk of change right now, I am. Why not? I mean, why not? So you might hold it for a year or two, and the inflation is going to chew out at your capital. It doesn't matter, because if we do have any kind of market downturn, well, you've got that kitty that's sitting there. You're ready to deploy. And you know what, mate? Most of the millionaires are made in economic downturns. Most of the biggest and best companies are established in economic downturns. So there's nothing wrong with holding on to a little bit of cash. Like, look, I think the market is expensive. Not in the Midwest. Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio are my three big states that I like. Yeah, as I said, there's nothing wrong with holding on to a little bit of cash.
Yeah, and working those markets out there you talked about, you got some great markets with great value of where you're picking up assets at, and great rental rates. Obviously we're in the note business, so we focus on buying stuff that we can get reperforming, but we always look at the rent rates because, hey, if we've got to take it back and that's a worst case scenario versus get reperforming, we've got some opportunities. And look, like you said before, it's overpriced in the East Coast, overpriced in the West Coast. If the market dips in those areas where people are overpaying for the most part, they're going to be hurting. Whereas buying in, I like to say, the bread and butter states of America, you're not going to see as big a dip as you did 10 years ago here in the market. I think it's going to be a bit more of a flat rate because there's been a slower increase in appreciation across the board. You're going to see a much higher dip when the market turns on, like I said, the East Coast and the West Coast states. And we're already starting to see those things take place out there in some of those areas, with days on market getting longer, foreclosure starting to tick up a little bit, and go from there. But like you said, some of the cities in Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, there's not a lot of crazy shit to do except just make some good returns. It's just, salt of the earth type of people living there, people working their jobs, living life, and they're just great people that you want to have as renters or potential owner occupants in your properties, right?
Well, mate, look, you can't expect any appreciation in these markets because I just don't see it happening, right? So it's not like the East Coast and the West Coast, but what you're saying is music to my ears. I just think it's a very kind of steady cash flow market. Of course, you need to stay out of the rough parts, but any city has rough parts, okay, the East Coast and the West Coast. But you've got a lot of pockets here in Toledo where there's a lot of blue-collar working class people. They're not bad people. They're hard-pressed for money. They don't make ridiculously high incomes. It's manufacturing that is the number one industry here, not, white-collar tech, six-figure salaries. But still, once again, I can tell you right now, in 5 years of doing this and out of hundreds of deals, mate, we only have, if one eviction a month, which is not that many. And I can probably count on one hand how many times I've had significant damage to a property that was made by a tenant in the last 5 years. So, and once again, tenants and toilets, mate, you can't win no matter how hard you try. I mean, we do our best, but still. Once again, we're kind of talking about a solid area, great infrastructure supporting that demand. Real estate is real estate. Things are always going to happen. But where I kind of get worried, if folks are looking into the Midwest, they start looking into the $20,000, $30,000 houses from a lot of turnkey companies that are shady. They're passing you on to a third-party property management company that specializes in nickeling and diming investors to death. They sell you that C or D class property where there is no true market value. That's where things can kind of get sticky. And I see a lot of investors, and I have seen a lot of investors absolutely losing their ass in those kinds of markets in the Midwest. You really want to stay B class. You want to be close to an infrastructure. You want to see a consistent level in the higher end comparable sales. Sure, there's going to be foreclosures in the bottom price range. But that renovated product, you want to see a higher comparable sale there and a consistency, because when you see that, there's obviously homeowners buying in those areas because it's desirable enough to live in. So yeah, man. I mean, look, I love the Midwest. I'm here. It's not sexy. It's not flashy. The numbers work. The returns are great. Don't expect any appreciation. And that's my 0.2 Australian cents. No, wait a minute. 0.02 Australian cents. I got that one wrong.
You were just off by decimal. It's okay. Now, one of the things you've done too.
I quit school at 14. What do you want?
It's awesome. So one of the great things that you've done, you've started expanding as well. You've done some great stuff. You're working on some great stuff with technology-wise. I know when we spoke in November in Mason, Ohio, you were just jacked up about some of the stuff that you're working on technology-wise. And then also you've added the real estate brokerage to your business as well. You want to talk a little about those two things?
Yeah, so I'll tell you right now, I'm never building tech again because it's probably taken 10 years of my life away. Like, Jesus Christ, man, like this stuff is just crazy. And hats off to all those young punks in the Silicon Valley pushing buttons and selling for 10 mil because it's not easy stuff. But I will tell you this. I don't know. I don't want to go into too much depth because this is like a whole separate podcast and I can talk to you about this for days. But in my opinion, mate, the commission split days of a traditional dinosaur brokerage are done. And you're going to find a lot of brokerages just losing a lot of business because agents are going to start flocking to 100% commission brokers. Don't really, they say they do, but they don't. It's all bullshit. So there's already a trend in the market where a lot of real estate agents are flocking to 100% commission brokers. Now, where I think the big differentiating factor is within all of these 100% commission brokerages is which company has the best tech. You had Gary Keller come out saying that Keller Williams is not a brokerage anymore. They're a technology company, which is actually quite funny to me because that's like me going out and saying, I'm not a turnkey investment company anymore. I'm a mechanic. Like you gotta be shitting me. I fix cars and they're called Ohio Trash Flow. I don't know, whatever. All right. So it's just like, that's mesmerizing to me anyway. I'm not going to bag him out too much, but there's a trend in the market right now where 100% commission brokers are taking over. And I believe that technology big part in the brokerage world, because before you know it, Scott, there's going to be someone that's going to jump in bed with the NAR, right? And they're going to tell the NAR that brokerages do not need to be in place to keep real estate agents accountable, as in real estate agents do not need to get their real estate license and put it under a brokerage. It is my belief that this company, which is going to be a technology company, they're going to jump in bed with the NAR and they're going to strike some kind of deal where real estate agents will be kept accountable, not by a brokerage, but by the NAR and this tech company on a statewide or nationwide level. So I'm predicting the extinction of real estate brokerages as we know them today. Prediction. So if you are a real estate brokerage right now, how are you going to retain all of these real estate agents who are going to need to put their license under your brokerage? Well, the only way that you can retain them is by giving them value, and the value that you're going to give them is tech. So you need to start building tech. And if you're not building tech, you're a dinosaur and you're going to become a... So that's kind of where I'm at. That's List and Sell Realty. That's the tech that I'm building. It's pretty much, going to offer value to agents for them to do their job successfully virtually. Here's another little prediction out there. So everyone can say they heard it here first. I think that title companies are done 5 to 10 years. You're not going to be working with a title company anymore to complete a transaction. That's gonna be done through blockchain. Don't ask me what blockchain is because I don't know and no one else does. So thank you very much. I think it's going to happen. So 5 to 10 years, title companies are done. I believe 10 to 20 years that brokerages are going to be done, if not sooner. And then I'm seeing potential threats over the next 20 to 30 years where real estate agents are going to be completely replaced and eliminated. I don't believe by robots. Let's not go that far into the future. My name is not Elon and last name is not Musk. But I do believe that within the next 20 to 30 years, there's going to be something that could affect real estate agents, because there's a lot of iBuyers coming out like Open Door, Knock, even Zillow now is buying properties from these homeowners and then listing them through their platform. So real estate agent is no longer needed in the transaction. I would hate for this to happen, Scott. I would hate it because people buy people. And I love real estate agents because they are the ones that make the sale. They really do. They work really hard. But hope that I'm wrong. But if I'm right, my question to every real estate agent out there listening is, what are you doing right now just in case your job gets eliminated? Are you buying notes? Are you investing in real estate? Are you flipping? Are you wholesaling? What are you doing right now? You're in a prime position as a real estate person that has done the education, that understands how to write a purchase agreement, how to write a listing agreement. You understand the fair housing rules, the legalities. Why the fuck aren't you doing other things in real estate, like what I just mentioned? So that's a big question that I've got for every real estate agent out there.
I totally agree with everything you just said. What's interesting to see is what some of these bigger firms are starting to do. And let's just talk about the behemoth. Let's not talk about Tesla and Elon Musk, but like what Amazon was doing. Amazon is already setting the infrastructure to get in the real estate business. They released, there was a notice something that they had a website go up and then went back down immediately for the most part, but it was just enough to catch people out there with this whole aspect of them going into the listing and selling of real estate, which takes away, like you said, the middleman, takes away the broker, takes away the agent, because once you've got the buyers and the sellers together and you've got all the information online via blockchain, there's really no need for the middleman anymore. You know?
Well, Scott, look at this. Tell me one industry that hasn't been disrupted yet. It's fucking real estate, dude. Like, you still do the same transaction you've been doing for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And I'm telling you, mate, I saw it 2 years ago. I see it even more now. It is changing like you would not believe. You have the biggest brokerage per agent count in the country coming out and saying we're a technology company, not a, like, and the fastest growing brokerage like eXp Realty is growing like wildfire. Compass, okay, they've got a lot of money, so I'm 100% convinced in their growth, but they're also focusing on tech. Redfin, all right, they're losing money, but they're also a technology company, right? So look, I honestly believe that that's where the future is. And, you just have to be, you have to keep your on the pulse, keep your finger on the pulse with what's going on. Because if you don't, man, if you're not willing to adapt, and look, dude, I can't type. Like, I type like this, but I'm trying. I'm doing my best because I have to adapt to it, because if I don't, man, I miss out. And I don't want to miss out. I want to know what's going on, and I want it to help my business and my investors. So, yeah.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. What's the best way for people to reach out to get a hold of you, to follow you and stuff like that? Because I know you're a busy guy, just like I am as well, too.
Yes. Wow. How can they reach out to me? Just Google me. Bloody hell. I must be doing a shit job if you can't find me on Google. Like, dude, just Google, like,
if you had a preferred way for them to reach out to you.
Yeah, just Google me. Like, that's my preferred way. Google me and figure out how to get a hold of me. Like, if you can't do that, you're probably worse than I am. And then you should go back to school and at least quit school, at least finish more than I did. Like 14 is when I quit. So yeah, at least. Yeah, no, mate.
Is that-
Angelo, I'm kidding. I'm mucking around, mate. EngeloRumora.com.
Engelo Rumora. That's for those that are listening on iTunes, Stitcher, it's ENGELORUMORA.com. It's ENGELORUMORA.com.
It's probably easier just to Google me, mate.
Yeah.
Just Google the Real Estate Dingo.
Real Estate Dingo. Just search for him. Find him in Toledo, not in Dayton.
And I might be there too. Just whatever.
Oh, hey, man. I appreciate your insight and some stuff. Appreciate you making time for us. I know you're busy just like I am, but thanks for fitting us in. Hey, we can help in any way. Love to continue the conversation a later day about some of the technology stuff that we're working through and vice versa as well, because I think we both got the same idea on where the market's going out there for real estate in the next 5, 10 years or sooner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, mate, thanks for having me. Pleasure, mate. Anytime you want me back on, just let me know, and I'll be happy to make it happen.
Awesome. Hey, guys and gals out there, take a second, check him. Go follow him on LinkedIn. You will love the videos that he's putting out there. Just great stuff, great passions. You can tell he almost probably needs an oxygen mask to walk around, because he's just taking it in so much, just like I do. A guy that is not afraid to share his opinion, share what he thinks and where he sees things going. That's what we love. We love having honest opinions here. No smoke blowing, no bullshit, just straight up content and straight up facts on what we see things going. So, Engelo, thank you so much for joining us today. All right, man.
Thanks,
Give my best.
mate.
Thanks, bud. We'll see you later. All right, guys and gals. Like I said, hey, take a few minutes, check him out online. Go out, look for the Real Estate Dingo, EngeloRumora.com. You will not be disappointed. Just a great guy. Got a big passion for helping investors out there and helping people really avoid the mistakes that he and a lot of us else have made over the last 5 or 10 years. But check him out. Like I said, you'll get a lot of great stuff out there. Otherwise, go out, make something happen. Take action today, everybody. And we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.